Richard Cross. We keep the conversation going this morning with Scott Lemmons, who joins us in studio, kind enough to spend a few minutes with this morning. He is the state director of the Nature Conservancy, new to that role, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the conservation work that is going on here in the state of Mississippi. First of all, good morning, Scott. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
I really do appreciate you coming in. Talk to us first, big picture, what the Nature Conservancy is and what your role is as state director.
So we're a global organization. The Nature Conservancy works in 78 countries globally. We've got chapters in all 50 states, and our mission is to conserve the lands, air, and water upon which all life depends.
It really is an incredible state. When you think about the natural resources that exist here, if you love the outdoors, there are other states that would probably argue to the same extent. I don't know that there's any place that's better to be than Mississippi.
I absolutely agree. You know, we have so many diverse habitats, you know, from the Mississippi River to the Delta, down to the Gulf Coast. You know, we have so many different opportunities here, and it's really a blessing to be able to work to conserve those resources.
Yeah, there's no question. So, what are the biggest challenges? Like if you have to make a bullet point list that exists right now, item number 1, item number 2, item number 3, in terms of challenges facing us as it pertains to conservation, how do you rank those?
You know, each program has their own challenges. You know, we have a freshwater program, we support a forest program, and we support a coastal and marine program. And, of course, you have to raise money to be able to put the conservation on the ground. So, you know, fundraising is a large portion of our job. Able to complete a large-scale conservation project, you have to work with additional partners. No one entity can deliver a multi-million-dollar project by themselves. You know, you have to work with state partners, federal partners, other NGOs, private foundations, private corporations. So, you know, looking at the big picture, to be able to deliver that conservation, it's a team effort across the entire conservation community.
Who are the players?
You have the state. You have the Forest Service, you got the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, you've got other NGOs like Ducks Unlimited, Delta Wildlife, Wildlife Mississippi, many private foundations. We work with Mississippi State University. There
really is a web of people that are involved.
Yeah, the list is endless. We work with anybody that is in the conservation community in the state of Mississippi. I guarantee we've partnered with it at some point.
That's incredible. And to me, and this is kind of what you touched on a second ago, when you have a diversity of partnerships, you also have a diversity of goals, a diversity of agendas, a diversity of viewpoints about how to solve problems that exist. Are you the one that gets to, I don't know if juggle is the right word or balance is the right word, or just try and kind of wrangle all of those ideas into the best ultimate outcome?
You know, the best way that I know to look at it is utilize the strengths that each partner brings to the table to work together to deliver the conservation project at hand. You know, we're all working towards a common goal. No matter which agency or NGO that we're working with in Mississippi, we're all working towards a common goal, and that common goal is to deliver conservation on the ground.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We are moving toward the start of deer season, right? I mean, you've got folks all over the place who are getting deer camps ready, who are planting fields, who are preparing food plots, who just can't wait to get out in the woods, whether it's for bow season or gun season or whatever it may be. When we think about the deer population in Mississippi, there obviously are concerns. Some of it has to do about growth. Some of it has to do about overpopulation. There's chronic wasting disease. What are some things from a conservation standpoint that are the most beneficial to our deer population?
Managing the habitat appropriately and managing the deer population within the region of the state where your property is located.
Okay. You mentioned the forestry department a second ago as well. What is their role? obviously there is a massive amount of land that they have to manage, to maintain, to fix when things go wrong in the aftermath of stores. But when you think about the forestry department, how do you boil down what it is they do?
Well, to answer your question, you know, the state manages forest lands, the U.S. Forest Service manages forest lands in Mississippi, and we work with both agencies to help meet their management objectives. So I guess I'd ask if I could narrow the question down a little bit more. Which agency are we referring to?
That's a great question. I'm not sure I know how to narrow that down a little bit more. I mean, I think about national forests that we see. I'm in North Mississippi. Obviously, the Holly Springs National Forest is close to where we are, and it's a massive undertaking. And really, I mean, the genesis of my question, if I'm being honest, I mean, I'm thinking about the controlled burns, people talking about maintenance work that needs to be done on forests, whether we're talking about Mississippi or other parts of the country. There are people that want to argue against that, but then there are people that say, hey, you know, some of the forest fires that we're dealing with are because we're not maintaining the forests the way we need to.
Okay, so I can speak to the question you just posed. So we work with the U.S. Forest Service. The Nature Conservancy does under what we refer to as stewardship agreements, and we have stewardship agreements with 3 of the national forests in Mississippi. We've got agreements on the Holly Springs, the Homachita, and the Bienville National Forest. And the purpose of those stewardship agreements is to utilize revenue from timber sales, basically a stand that needs thinning or any other type of forest management, and we can turn around and utilize the proceeds of that sale to put conservation on the ground on that particular national forest to help meet their needs and objectives. So, for instance, you know, we harvested a sale on the Homachita National Forest recently, and we turn around and we utilize the proceeds of that sale to reforest in native loblolly pine habitat, as well as installing a number of red-cockaded woodpecker nest boxes, which RCWs are a threatened and endangered species in Mississippi and across the southeast.
Obviously, there's a lot to balance. I am told that you are an alligator hunter.
I do enjoy it, yes. I've been doing it since, I guess, since 2010.
It's still relatively new in Mississippi. I mean, you say since 2010. Our neighbors to the southwest in Louisiana have been at this for a lot longer. Obviously, the alligator population has grown in the state of Mississippi. One of the things that's so fascinating to me about alligator hunting is the different ways, the different approaches. It's just incredible because the way they're hunted in Mississippi is different than the way they're hunted in Louisiana, for example.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a wonderful recreational sport, and the state's done a wonderful job of managing the alligator population. The way they have it designed, we're able to harvest across all age classes of alligators. You have to take one under 7 feet and one over 7 feet, and from where we were in 2010 to where we are now, you know, that population is holding steady from all of the data that I've seen, and the interest in that sport has grown tremendously over the last 15 years. And I like to fish, I like to hunt, and it's a perfect combination of the two.
Yeah, it really certainly is. What about the big ones? I mean, we see those pictures pop up on Facebook or Instagram or X every year where there's a tractor with its bucket all the way up as far as it goes, and they got this 12-foot gator, and it weighs 850 pounds. Are those common? Or maybe just social media makes it look common? What is the common gator that's harvested in Mississippi?
I can tell you this. I've caught multiple 12-footers. I think my biggest was 1210 and a half, and it weighed 710 pounds. I generally hunt the southwest zone just because it's where my camp is located, and I like to hunt on the Mississippi River. But there's lots of, mature 12-foot size class out there. And every year it seems like, someone brings in multiple 13s. Somebody brought in a 14-footer this year.
What is that fight like?
There's nothing like it. I mean, it's like holding on to a freight train as long as you possibly can.
how long? I mean, you get a 12-footer on the line. How long does that fight last?
I've had it last over 3 hours before.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I brought them in around an hour, and I've had fights that lasted excess of 3 hours. It's amazing.
Scott, I look forward to visiting with you again. We're just scratching the surface on some of the things that are happening. Wish you all the best in this role as state director at the Nature Conservancy, and appreciate it. Know we need to, in the future, talk about the Stewardship Fund as well and the things that are going on there. Thanks so much for coming by this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Scott Lemmons, State Director with the Nature Conservancy. This is the Gallo Radio Show on SuperTalk, Mississippi.